Hello and welcome to Johnny English today. So yesterday we started speaking about protest, and specifically we were talking about the protests that are taking place here in Poland against the controversial abortion laws that have just been enacted on Thursday last week. Now, we're not a political channel, and that's not the purpose of these videos. The purpose of these videos is to learn to speak English confidently and naturally. But as we're talking about protests, I thought it would be good if we could just cover some vocabulary that is associated with protesting. I was reading today some articles in English about the protests here in Poland, and I thought about how it would be if I were not English reading this and whether I would understand all the terminology that was being used. So that's why I thought I could just speak about some of those things right now. So you talk about protest and a protest, or going on a protest. Protest being a noun, a protest. Protest is also a verb, something you do. But the full expression is a protest rally. So when people protest, they're actually on a rally. And the reason we call it a rally as a noun is because that's what you do when you gather people together for the purpose of protest. You rally them together. So that's the verb. The verb used to collect people together is to rally people together. So that's the first term. It's a protest rally, and you rally for the purpose of protest. So what kind of things would you expect as you're following this protest rally down the street? What kind of things would you see? Well, you will see people carrying things. A number of things. They may have a long strip of material that very often at the front of the protest rally or the protest march, you will see a number of people holding one sheet or one long piece of material with some writing on it. Sometimes they're purpose made, sometimes they're made by people using old bed sheets or whatever. And those things are called banners. They're banners because they're long and they contain quite a bit of information. And a number of people carry them. They're banners. Now, also on protests, you will see people carrying a stick with something square maybe on top of it or stuck to it with some writing on it, expressing their feelings, usually in no uncertain terms, about the subject that they are protesting. Now, that's not a banner, that is a placard. So they carry placards. And that's this stick with usually a square piece of material like wood or whatever, cardboard, on that stick that contains the information that they want to people to know or to understand. And there are posters, I guess, that are around about, and sometimes people carry small posters, little banners of their own, tiny banners that contain the information they want to put across. And there will always be somebody or a number of people talking into something that makes their voice much louder. And that thing that they are speaking into, usually chanting, usually cheerleading, encouraging the crowd to repeat some kind of slogan, is a megaphone. So they're talking into a megaphone. And very often when the protest rally reaches its end point, there'll be somebody on a platform or on a higher place using a megaphone to expand their voice to make themselves more easily heard by everybody in attendance. But also in attendance at rallies and protest marches are the police, always. Now, when you see a line of police, or maybe a temporary barrier of some kind, it could be metal, it could just be some tape, or it could just be the police themselves, forming a line, forming some kind of temporary barrier, excuse me, some kind of temporary barrier to prevent people going this way or that. That is called a cordon, a police cordon. So very often if police don't want you to go in a certain direction, it will be said in the report that the police cordoned off the road. It means they blocked the road, they created a barrier to stop people going that way. So there's just a few words that you will almost certainly see if you were to read a report in English about protests of any kind. So hopefully that's been helpful, and please tune in for tomorrow for some more interesting subjects on the English language.